All right, so that episode 2 of Dexter's Resurrection. So, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about from what they did with like the first episode, which was like I said in my previous video of it being like a damage control, right? But for this second episode, it was more of the whole trying to like figure out like who was the ones to have killed, like, I guess Ryan, right? Like who killed Ryan. So that's when you had like the two detectives, like Wallace and I guess Oliver, right? And she's like, we need like DNA splatter, like what's going on, right? And that's when they come back and they try to like figure out like what's going on. So that's when you see them go over to security and they like, okay, like the footage, like what's happened with the footage. And that's when she was saying to him like, oh, like there's blind spots. So that's when she's seen like, okay, Ryan. And then it was like, oh, this female. And it was like, okay, bring her in to ask questions. And then that's when you see like Harrison, like he's still awkward and shy about it. So that's when she's like, hold on, who is this guy? Like, bring him in. I want to talk to him. And that's when the guy comes over to Harrison and was like, okay, the police is going to talk to you. So okay, so you got that bit right. And then we see like Dexter, like throughout this, throughout the entire episode, like he's still looking at it, after his son, making sure that his son is okay. And that's when we see him, like when he's in New York City, he's at the hotel, and then he's trying to like figure out like, okay, what happened? Like how did Harrison do? So he goes into the room and he's like, okay, there's no blood, right? And then that's when he's hiding like out in the closet area, and that's when the two detectives like walk in, and that's where they talk about the whole blood spatter. And that's when, oh no, that's where Harrison don't need. It's like a really good detective to like figure out like the missing pieces, because I think she's just as good as Dexter with the whole putting together like the pieces and like the murder scene. So I was like, oh shit like it's already getting good. So you got that bit. But then that's when you see like Dexter like he goes, he searches around quite a bit, and then that's when he goes into like the kitchen area and he looks around and he's like, okay, this is a perfect place for a crime scene to take place, or a murder scene to take place. So he sticks around until closing time, and then that's when he goes back into the kitchen area and he's like, okay, Harrison most likely performed the kill here, but it had to be something. And then he takes like the cleaver, he looks at it, and then he looks up and he's like, oh, here's the blood splatter right here. So he takes the blood splatter and then he removes it, and that's it. That's pretty much it. But we do know like this female detective, she's gonna come through and be like, okay, how did the body get rid of? Like, what's going on? So all eyes is still gonna be on Harrison at the moment, because again, like he was the one to have helped her, and we don't know if she remembers anything or not. We don't know because she was pretty out of it, because that whole Mickey drug that Ryan gave her, we don't know if she remembered anything or she was completely out. We don't know. I think she was completely out, so I highly doubt she would remember, but maybe she would probably like remember hearing a struggle. Who knows, right? But we do know that Harrison is not out the clear, because all eyes is still on Harrison. And Harrison throughout this entire episode was kind of like struggling as well, because he's struggling off the fact that he's still seeing Ryan's dead ghost after he killed him, and then he started to have hallucinations of Dexter, of him killing Dexter. And then he goes out to party, I think, with Lance. They go out to party and he gets high with Lance, and he starts reading like the note that Dexter left him, and he starts like looking at like the old pictures and like Jim Lindsay. So I guess he sells the pickup truck to, I guess, Lance, right? Because he's still going through it, because like I said in my previous video, it's like he's still new to this. He's not like Dexter, where he was, he wanted to do this. Now, the one thing I will say, where in New Blood, I don't know if they're like going to completely change like Harrison's like character, because in New Blood it seemed like he was like vibing to kill. Like he was like, he had urges, like he had dark urges. I don't know what they exactly doing here in Resurrection. I don't know if they try to say like, well, he was struggling with these dark urges, or he's not. Like, we don't know what they're trying to do with Harrison, but it kind of seemed like they rewritten some things, because we was like, wait a minute, in New Blood, he was like so down to wanting to kill, and he had urges, and he was conflicted because Dexter wasn't in his life, but then at the same time he's conflicted because he seemed like he wanted to kill. But now that he's done it and seen Dexter do it, it seems like they're trying to say like, well, maybe he's still confused, maybe he doesn't know if he has these urges, or maybe he just was pissed off at the time because Dexter wasn't in his life. So I get what they're trying to tell, but I feel like they sort of like trying to put some bandages over New Blood, because like I said in my previous video, that they sort of fucked up in New Blood, sort of, right? But I guess what they're doing with like Harrison is giving him a conflicted character on what he should do and what he should like really be. But when Dexter was in like the coming out of like the Empire Hotel, he did see Dexter, but then in his mind he probably think that like another hallucination, but it wasn't. That was actually Dexter that he seen, because Dexter is still sort of recovering from the whole gunshot wound, because he's not healed, because again 10 weeks is not enough to have a person be up and running again. Like Dexter's father was explaining, he's like, yo, you need to take it easy, son. But then when his car gets towed and he has to get like a Uber driver, and he gets an Uber driver, and then that's when he talks to the guy named Blessing. So Blessing tells him, he's like, yeah, there's a serial killer that's going around killing like cab drivers and Uber drivers. And he was like, wait, what? And then told him that he goes by the name the Dark Passenger. He said, oh hell no, this man's an imposter. He stole my name. So that's when he's like, okay, he goes over to like the compound to, I guess, get his car back. But then that's when Blessing tells him, he's like, well, I have like a little gathering party, and he was telling him about, I guess, like his friend who survived like the Dark Passenger. He said, well, he's going to be at the party. So Dexter goes to the party, and then he starts to talk to the guy, and that's when he tells him, he's like, yeah, he survived like the encounter with like the Dark Passenger, because in the beginning parts of the show we seen the Dark Passenger kill one of like the Uber drivers. So when you fast forward it back over to here, it's like Dexter talks to him, and then that's when he sees like the video footage of, okay, how did he get away? But then he has, I guess, like some sort of hoodie or some sort of mask that I guess is like infrared, where you don't really see his face. So Dexter does some reconnaissance, and he's like, okay, this guy I guess is a cybersecurity IT guy, and he tracks him down, and he's like, okay, this guy's in kill mode. But Dexter's too injured and still too hurt to even try to pursue him. And like his father told him, he said, when did you ever start caring about people? He said, you just only cared about the kill. But Dexter is slightly changing, because from what we've always remembered, it was always about the kill. It was never really about anybody else. It was always about the kill. But Dexter's like, well, I do care. So he saved like the Uber driver. He saved him, and now that since he got a place, because since Blessing said, well, since you don't really have anywhere to go, because Dexter told him that he was staying in a motel. So he said, all right, you can stay with us, but you will be like, I guess, in their basement. Like he's basically in their basement. So he has a place to stay, but now he has to deal with like this whole Dark Passenger serial killer that's running around killing like Uber drivers. So Dexter gets the job, well, I guess is trying to get the job of being like an Uber driver, but he needs the information because he's trying to get this guy. So we know that eventually he is going to kill this guy, but he's just right now doing some reconnaissance work. But at the same time, he's still not fully healed in the matter of doing anything physical, because if he is going to go after like more serial killers in New York City, he has to be fully healed, because we've gotten, I guess, more story of like the other serial killers, because Charlie, I guess goes after this other guy who's also a serial killer, and that's when she, I guess, because he was in his bank account because he was trying to withdraw money, and it was like, well, you can't like withdraw any money. And it was just like, why is that? Why can I not withdraw any money? And she's like, well, your services and businesses is basically done. And then he tries to say, if I go to the feds with this information, what you gonna do? And that's when she just says to him, there's nothing that you can really do. But then Charlie kills the guy because he was being too touchy-handy, and we know that we're going to get more information and more story from these other serial killers that's gonna have like this big serial killer ball event that they're gonna most likely set up down the line. But you know, again, like I said, I felt like they were still doing damage control after New Blood, but then the stuff that they're telling with Harrison is like a conflicting character of he's still not used to the murder and the killing, but at the same time he's still dealing with certain things, because we see he did get a GED and he is watching after like this girl's kid, and it seemed like they might start to get a bit closer, but it's going to be hard for him to have any sort of normal life or any decency with the stuff that he's dealing with, and you know, him seeing like still that hallucination of Ryan, and then I guess more stuff about Dexter of maybe he's starting maybe to regret it, or maybe he didn't want to do it. There's a lot that's happening right now, but we know that Dexter will see Harrison again, and he's gonna probably try to tell him like, son, it's okay, you know, I'm here for you. But we don't know how Harrison is gonna respond to it. We don't know, but it's getting quite interesting. And then earlier in the bits where Captain Batista was like, yo, you know where Dexter went at? You know, I'm his friend. I just really need to see him. I really need to talk to him. And that's when Teddy was like, well, he could be anywhere. But the thing is, we know that he will be in New York City. We do know that he's going to be in New York City, and he's going to try to figure out like where is Dexter and how he can, like, you know, track him down and most likely try to arrest him, because he's like, he could be anywhere, and he's not going back to freaking Miami. He ain't going back to damn Miami. He going to be sticking around because he's trying to figure out like where Dexter went at, because again, he can't get over the fact that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And everybody who's been saying it for years, like Greta said it, James Doak said it, and then Angela, when she was on the phone with Batista, and she told him that Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher, and he was like, what the fuck? Oh, hell nah. So that little story isn't gonna be over, because, you know, Batista is like a cool character, but at the same time has a lot of history with Dexter, because they solved cases together, murders together, right? They went out together, right? So it's really conflicting, but at the same time, the people that did end up dead, it's like, you know, he can't get over that fact, and we don't know exactly what Batista's gonna really do. We don't know. Like, he seems like the guy that he maybe is trying to bring Dexter down, but then at the same time, I don't know, maybe he's just searching for answers. Like, I liked it. I like what they're doing so far. It's not bad. Hopefully they don't fuck up. Hopefully they don't fuck up and they do this correctly. I hope they don't fuck up, because I'm telling you, New Blood, that ending wasn't good. But I'm hoping they can get they act together and they can make Resurrection good. But so far, I like it. I can't wait to see what other stuff that they're gonna add into the story, and man, it's gonna be good. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll catch you all in the next one.